Looking forward, I mean, clearly there has been an impact on all industries from both the chip shortage and supply chain disruptions, rising shipping costs, rising raw materials prices, and so on. It is making it challenging for executive teams to negotiate some of these headwinds. But these are all short-term issues, aren't they? We can look forward perhaps by the end of the year or into early 2022 for these things to be resolved, or are there more long-term structural problems?
I think here, if I look at it, if we take our solution, I think this week is a fantastic week to have the discussion, because I think the solution we are doing on the renewable energy solutions through the wind, that is probably will never be more in vogue or fashion or asked for in the next 2 decades, because we are part of the solution and addressing the challenge of the climate. Having said that, then of course you will have some volatility when the world is experiencing what they're experiencing in the global supply chain right now. I think, could this be something that extends? Do you know what? I'm the customer. I'm the sort of part of the demand side in this. So I always think our demand for the solutions globally. We have taken orders in more than 20 countries in this quarter, Q2. The quarterly order intake is up more than 2 times compared to Q1. So the world is adjusting to the new costing, everything else, which we also discussed after Q1. Having said then, I'm not the one that will comment on when that eases up the supply chain, because I think right now it's the transport sector. It is also partly the raw material sector that has to adjust to that. And part of it is also finding the logistical challenges of getting access to harbors and others. But I would leave that to somebody. We live right now with that this will probably affect us for the rest of this year, and this is what we have reflected in our adjusted guidance.
Henrik, as we talk about the demand story, I want to bring up the recent IPCC report, the Code Red for Humanity. I mean, there's been a lot of climate denial still in quarters around the world for political purposes, but this was a fairly monumental document with a lot of governments, representatives signing off on it. To what extent do you think there will be an impact on the demand story again for renewable energy because of this report?
I don't think the report necessarily trigger an order intake investors in the following week. What I'm also urging as commenting here is that we maybe stop looking for more evidence, that we maybe stop talking or stop the rhetoric and rather now focusing on what needs to be done. There's a couple of things when you read that. I mean, for people that have been in continental Europe this year, you have either had excessive floodings or you have had some of these wildfires that unfortunately influence a lot of our colleagues and citizens around in the countries. And therefore, why are we looking for more evidence in getting something done? And 2 observations. Coal prices up 100% so far this year. So that means the demand for coal, actually one of the leading things that damage the effect in the report, is now seems to be in much higher demand than there was a year ago. Secondly, 2% of the recovery plans for COVID goes into renewable energy and that recovery. So I think we probably, what my urge will be is, let's now start doing what we also talk about. And I think that's an important one. And we will be here to be that part of the strategic tool in making that energy transformation